Alright, this is it, folks. It's the final stretch. This is essay analysis part 3 of essay analysis part 1. Essay analysis part 2 was the part before this one. And here, here we go. Here we go. This is all there is to it. Because, don't get a true sweet spot. We've just got some more, we're, feeling each other out, trying to get any good combos. This is where the motobug punish game comes into play, where you can see just like up tilting my, I believe that was like a tech slide off. What was that? They hit me over here. Yeah, that looked like a slide off tech to me, but up tilt into downer is just brutal. It's going to totally kill me. I'm mashing jump that whole time. I promise you, I am just completely dead with no recourse. Even with the SDI away, is just like not going to save me. Sonic downer can be brutal, and this is the point in the set where when I was watching this alone, I started noticing how much motobug likes to go for those like up tilts and those forward airs when their opponent is in the corner, and I can't assume it's anything but just because downer is just so high reward. Like that's a true spike for those of you who don't know. It's very strong. You can see it killed Lucario at 60 there. Lucario's reasonably heavy, I feel like he's like 90 weight, like 95. I don't actually know. I feel like in like 3.6 he was maybe like 98 or like 103 or something. Now he's like 90, 95, something. His recovery's he's no slouch. Okay, he definitely wasn't 108, because if he was 108 I would have remembered that. But you can always rely on just knowing exactly where and when your opponent's going to be and just popping him with a back air. I felt a little bit like an asshole when I said that. Just to send them out of the world. Or maybe, I guess we're in space, so maybe we can send them back to the world. And you can see, this is when I decided to try to go a little beast mode. I was like, all right, let's start moving a lot faster. Let's start playing some baits. And you can see I'm just sort of like Neo in the Matrix here around Motobug's moves. And I think that's really awesome. I get like nothing off of it, but I thought that looked really cool. So that's like sort of sick. And you can see here, dash attack side B or dash attack forward tilt. Motobug ASDI down, buffer roll away. Okay, they took 10. We're back in neutral, and they can play something off of the fact that I'm trying to push it when it's not really advantage. So like Lucario, yeah, he can determine a lot of mix-ups with his dash attack. His dash attack is very it's very, what's the word? It's like very centralizing in a lot of interactions, but they're that's adorable Italian mouse movement right there. Other characters have plenty of tools to deal with it, and you can see Sonic's dash dance grab is very strong here. So, and motobug here, I feel like when I first got to this state, they probably would have short hop nared here. This state being Massachusetts. Also, Jake, listen up. Jake, if you're watching this video, listen up. Here's some SDI you should do. Back closer to when stack stun existed and before my SDI became as well known throughout the universe, but you can see just like this forward air connects and I'm SDIing down and away. I'm SDIing down and away on every character, every combo right here, just SDI down and away, just trying to hit the floor, just trying to be actionable. And it gets me to ledge here, but they get a little more damage off of the forward air than the Nair would have, I assume. I don't actually know for sure. I said it and then I looked and I saw that it did 11% and I was like, oh man, that really might have been wrong. Let's just keep moving. But it connects a little cleaner. And getting, yeah, same thing right here, off of this down tilt, up tilt, nair. You can see down and away into the floor, get a slide off, and then I'm actionable again. If you're ever not sure what to do on a move, and you don't think a kill move is coming, you think they're going to try to combo you, I highly recommend SDI down and away. Just try to get to the floor. Being in a tech situation when your opponent thinks you're going to be in the air is incredibly valuable, and vice versa. Being in the air when your opponent thinks you're going to be teching is super valuable. Just like being able to mix up your opponent on whether you're on the ground, in the air, actionable, not actionable, able to be reverse, like not able to be reverse, any of that stuff, those are super important. I felt a little silly when I said not able to be reversed, but then I justified it back in my head by being like, oh, well, if you don't have very much drift going in a direction, then the be reversed doesn't really, actually matter at all. So, yeah, that's what I meant. defensive game. So it lets me get a fair out here. I don't really get anything off of the fair due to the weakness of my familiarity with Lucario's double team cancels, but that's okay because we get back to neutral, and that's what matters. I could go on about how bad I am with Lucario double team cancels. I just legit have like 0 ideas for use cases for them for like proper. Okay, I have one idea. It's fair from ledge, DT cancel up tilt, which is the thing that I missed literally exactly right there. But like, I don't feel like talking about it right now. We're not gonna get into it too much. Okay. And you can see this is like my first extended punish in a while. Oh my goodness, my YouTube is dying. But dash attack up tilt, classic bread and butter, you know, up tilt again, just turn it into a grab. All of these like this is basic Vivisthesia stuff. Tilt stick Lucario sort of fundamentals is just like dash attack, just do some up tilts, just do some grabs, like just keep it going, you know. You don't have to worry about what you're doing, just keep the stuff going. And you can see how cleanly it converts on a character like Sonic sometimes. That this is just like juggle advantage state the whole time from like... I like how excited you can hear I'm getting when I see a combo happening that's Lucario. That reminds me of Vivisthesia. Like from 30% into just like this is a stock on Lilac Cruise. We got the uppies combo there. Stock on Lilac Cruise. And important stuff for hitting this is that's strong hit upper there. This is like strong hit upper is not going to convert on Sonic in like 15% after this. You're going to have to go for middle hit. It's going to get way more awkward, but this is the percent where you want to look at it. Look for it, sorry. And then you can see I cancel into it as I'm still moving. So when I get the double jump, I sort of have this like momentum still going up to get that up air, and that's going to be an early stock. And I think stuff like that is really important for playing Lucario. And here's the sort of like quote DJC unquote that I mentioned earlier to look for later. You can see I just sort of like mix up and I'm back down to center from here. I think this is an underutilized part of Lucario's kit. Is that you can just like go from the air to the ground so quickly in like a weird way with weird drift. I thought that I sounded really stupid when I said go from the air to the ground really quickly because I realized that just means fast falling mostly. Actually, no, it's because the down air, that's the whole point of what I'm saying. I'm stupid for saying I'm stupid. Anyways, just listen to me. Using his down air. So I'd like to see Lucario's using more of that. And here are some more things that I've mentioned a million times. You know, I'm looking for forward tilt side B. Motobug's looking for up tilt down air. They find their thing. I don't get mine. That's going to be an early stock for the Motobug. The Motobug is kind of funny. Now, of course, up tilt down air. They
also,
find their thing.
If this
I don't
were
get
like,
mine. That's going to be an early stock.
If this were friendlies, I would do like a nair here. I would try to chain nairs. If this were friendlies and I had 2 aura, I would go for nair, up B, nair, and then die off of it probably. Or like actually maybe I could like DT double jump back and then maybe survive, but doing like 3 nairs would be insane. I feel like I've never seen that.
Bug. Now, of course, I want more here. I wanna up B towards them and I wanna nair them, but this was just like, this is not the spot to do it. Because even if it connects, like, so first of all, this insanely hard conversion to connect with this up B, it would probably barely combo. They're way too early of a percent. If the nair connects, they're going to like over here and they're like so fine. And it's just absolutely not worth the aura, because if I miss, I'm like so dead. Like just so ridiculously dead. But if I cut it early and go back to stage, you know, I can play my up tilt stuff. And this, I also really liked this this first hit down air here, because it kind of looked like they're SDIing out. I'm noticing there's just like a lot of SDI between us two when we're playing each other. Yeah, they're SDIing out of this down air, it looks like away, but I can catch, because I'm assuming only the first hit of the down air is going to hit, and I can cancel it into side B. And then that's going to keep my advantage state going. Overextend a little bit to ledge here. I feel like, looking at this now, what I'm thinking in my mind's eye, I'm like, okay, wave bounce this aura sphere cancel, so I end up over here, but I'm still facing forward, you know? But I think I can see what I was looking for. I should have just done it a little earlier, because then I could be doing my up tilt stuff. And I go for the uppies again here, but you can see this is what I was talking about. Just a few percent
51.
more, and the strong up air is not going to convert anymore. It sends Sonic too far, so you can't actually get the follow up hit there. If I were myself here, I would want to see a little more down tilt spacing and a little less of this other stuff. I can tell I'm very anxious this day. You know, this was definitely a caffeine day. I had an iced coffee this day for sure.
I felt like I was like kind of jawing there, so I tried to say it in like a joking tone so that people wouldn't think I was taking it too seriously, but I think it sort of had the opposite effect. I think that myself, like completely genuinely as a competitor, I think I'm responsible for the substances that I intake on the day of a tournament. And I think that like when I choose to intake caffeine, like it changes the way that I'm going to play that day. And I think that's like part of entering a tournament, and I hold my opponents responsible for that as well. So yeah, that's my aside. I really don't mean to John about this. Like I really don't feel like I feel like it's coming off as a John. I legitimately do not feel it as a John. Like that's just part of it. Like I feel like the caffeine is a lot of what made me play so well this day, but it also means that in situations like this, I'm going to play a little bit weaker, and I think that's a legitimate trade-off.
But the up tilt zoning is one of the reasons I think Lucario is really strong, especially in matchups like this, because up tilt, just like any hit of up tilt, is gonna pick you up in up air. And I don't know what the Lucarios were doing before they started running around and up tilting everywhere on the stage. I'm gonna be honest. And you can see there's the DJC down air.
When I say I don't know what they were doing, it's not like I think what they were doing was bad. It's just like I legit don't understand. Like, how are they getting kills? I don't know how they killed them, because it's all I do.
Again, just these are the things that I look for in my own Lucario play. Looking for something clean off of a side B. Probably shouldn't, like, theoretical maximum Lucario play is not looking for side B here, but at my lower level of Lucario, I'm looking for side B. It's what I'm comfortable with. And then off of this, you can see, yeah, here's the use case of the up smash. Like, it's two clean hits there, and it confirms into strong hit up air at the mid percents on this mid faller guy, and it's just a very nice pickup. And you can see Sonic's a little too low for.
I got a little self-conscious there because I thought that I accidentally misgendered motobug by saying he, which technically isn't, like they're they any, but still, I mean, I use they them for motobug, as I feel like most people do. But then I realized the reason that I said he was because the last thing that I had referred to was Sonic and not motobug. I was talking about like Sonic's combo weight. And I feel like sometimes people, especially like cis people on commentary, try to cover up misgendering trans people by like acting like they were talking about the character, like, oh, I was talking about Fox, I wasn't talking about the person. But that time I would like to say that I feel like that was legitimate. Yeah.
For up air to kill off the top here, so I'm just converting into back air and trying to play the next situation. I'm gonna look for up tilt. Yeah, I'm looking for up tilt, and then Lilac Cruise has a low ceiling, so this kills. I was like, please God, let this kill, and luckily, we're here. So I mean, that's why I counterpicked here. I was trying to kill off the low ceiling, but still, that's a very low ceiling. So and here we've got the counterpick. I mean, the counterpick makes sense. The stage is a lot bigger. And this is what I would like to see more from myself, is this wave dash down tilt space.
As I said that, I was like, wow, this is how I talk to my students. That's kind of funny.
Getting the tipper hit of down tilt and converting it specifically into grab.
Shout me out in the comments if you want a lesson.
Because just for my own comfort's sake, a lot of the time I go for down tilt into side B. It's like you don't have to react to whether it hits. Like, there's a much bigger reaction window if it hits or not. It's just like, it's way simpler to do, but it's also like unbelievably worse. So I want to see more of this from myself, and I'm proud of myself for hitting it here. And then of course I get my mix up, like my mix up in air quotes. I get my chic throw mix up here, where all my throws on all DIs are converting. So I get my up smash. I go for a second up smash because I didn't quite notice the motobug is too high. This is also what I was talking about earlier. But I cancel out of it, get to keep sort of playing advantage, and then I kill myself because you know this camera here on this stage. I kind of thought that slant wasn't there, but you know these things happen. We're playing on a stage list. You know, you keep playing. Sometimes you die at 9. It's part of being a competitor.
I was actually really excited to hear how I sounded when I said that because I do legitimately believe that, but I feel like autism could make it so it sounds like I'm joking when I say that, or people could think it's not legitimate. But I feel like I did a pretty good job with the emphasis there. So
Can't stress that enough. And motobug is just getting crazy pickups here like this. You're playing against motobug. This is like the scariest thing that's ever happened to you. You're in this spot. Because they can just, you know, like you're worried about that downer spike, like bad things can happen to you. And here I'm looking for my own spike, my aura side B, my force blast spike, but you got to start that much earlier if you want that to connect. It's frame 13, so just cleanly whiffed. But you can afford to go for it a little more with Lucario than if you were like, you know, what's a character? You could go for this more than if you were like Knuckles
I felt really stupid right after I said Knuckles because Knuckles has glide.
or something, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Because you got the horizontal sweet spot mix up here to help save you a little bit. It's yeah. And I'm looking for more zoning here. Here's one of the things if you're ever going to try to play Lucario and you're trying to convert off of these up B cancels here, is that as soon as you cancel the up B into a move, or maybe even just cancel the up B, I'm not totally sure, your momentum is like stopping completely. Like it sort of feels like when you're going up, you should keep going up a little, but you can see I needed to go up a little bit more, and I maybe even needed to angle it like more to up here if I wanted to connect this. Like you kind of want to go a little over them and fall onto it, but it can be very awkward, especially when your opponent's character is a faster faller than yours. And it's very awkward to aim, but you still get advantage sometimes, but it feels really bad to spend the 50% of aura.
I meant to say 60%. I didn't know I messed that up. Also, shout outs Bradley for teaching me how to convert that better.
You know, speaking of 50%, that's my success rate roughly on those conversions. So again, don't worry too much. Don't worry too much when you get hit by those. Just zoning with up tilts here. And you can see here's full character length SDI, get out of Fox up air. Or not Fox, Sonic. I'm thinking of other characters whose up airs do not work when you SDI them. So always try to SDI that, you know, just like SDI away. If they're drifting.
I hate that. I hate it when characters' moves don't work when you SDI them. I wish those characters just had moves that always didn't work. You know, like I feel like the more common thing to do is to make it so the moves always work. I just wish those moves never worked.
And to the left, SDI to the right, you know, vice versa. And then we got a little pickup here, some kind of tilt into an up air. Yeah, that's an up tilt and up air. That'll do. And here's the mix up. Getting this nair on respawn. Get some aura right here. Yeah, we're zoning. We're looking for stuff. Falling forward air into side B feels really good when you can hit it, but you have to know like exactly kind of where your opponent's going to be. You have to like fall on them. This one's pretty inconsistent. I wouldn't recommend going for it too much. And there I went for the hey guys again there. Didn't.
I'm just like listening to this and it's hitting me slightly how weird what I'm doing is. Like doing an analysis video of an analysis video. Like I get that it's weird and I was doing a little bit of a joke when I was doing this, but I also think it's kind of cool to do something like this, I guess. And I mean, you know, I'm watching my analysis video and I'm doing analysis of it in my head and I think, well, might as well just record it. It'll be funny. People who like me can watch it and maybe they'll enjoy listening to me talk about myself talking about myself playing. And then, you know, maybe someday I'll record an analysis video of this analysis video. I'll probably wait a while before I do that one because I have been imagining it and I would only have a couple things to say about the stuff that I've said thus far. You know, maybe like 4 or 5 things to say total. So, you know, yeah, it's a little weird that I'm doing this, but, you know, it's cool.
Wait, get it. Oh, goodness. Wrong button.
I reached in real life to try to fix that button that I just hit in the recording.
Come on now.
It's called a key, by the way, not a button when it's on a keyboard. Also, the come on now was cute.
Yeah, playing some advantage here. And here's the mix-up that I mentioned earlier that we were going to look for later, which is off of motobug doing the spring. I'm looking for down air here, but they are just like falling, regular falling, you know, no fast fall, no down air, no nothing. And you can see
That was me like searching for the term regular fall and thinking it was a more common term and trying to remember what it was and failing. It's kind of funny to hear me say falling like 5 times in a row. Let's go back so we can hear that again.
down air here, but here's the mix-up that I mentioned earlier that we were going to look for later, which is off of motobug doing the spring. I'm looking for down air here, but they are just like falling, regular falling, you know, no fast fall, no down air, no nothing. And you can see it takes Sonic just so much longer to hit the ground when this happens. And I get like mega mixed up by it, and I get super owned. I just get like second fared, and then I get like down tilt nothing. But you know, it's still just like very, very damaging to the ego and to the situation, just to everything. To be pretty much even in an advantage, and then you get mixed up by that. Like that's a situation I would like to be able to play better. I feel like it's sort of. This situation is sort of analogous to the Lucario up B cancel around here that I was talking about, like falling with back air or DT cancel to center.
I felt so smart when I came up with that analogy.
You know, this is like sort of Sonic's equivalent of that, and you can see here that I beefed it in a similar way to how motobug was. I didn't get punished massively, but that's the kind of thing I notice a lot when I'm playing. So, and you can see, oh my goodness, these keys are just, my hands are not where I think they are. You can see this ceiling is definitely a bit higher than Lilat's. This would have killed on Lilat for sure. So good counter pick. We got a Moxie Aura Sphere. Sharken with Aura Sphere, and then I believe this back air does not connect, but this early blast attack recovery, I think I get to ledge first. I've looked at this so many times, I can't tell if I get to ledge first or if motobug's just in helpless by the time. Or in, you know, rather just like not actionable to grab the ledge. I think they might not be there. The double team is not very good at grabbing the ledge, so that would make sense as well. But, and then you can see here's me doing my little movement trick, and then motobug just like completely catches it. I'm doing my down air DJC type thing, and then they catch my shield on the platform. That's how you can tell we've played each other a number of times. Is knowing to go for that, and then getting a clean forward air, and we got 2-2. And I'm looking for something. I'm trying to be cute with my movement here. I hate when I'm watching myself and I see this. I'm just like moving around way too much. Like I'm just doing like my shield drop, double jump back on the platform, you know, like.
I realized as I was saying it that there was only one cute movement thing and most of it was just dumb dash attacks, so I tried to cover that up, but.
What is this? I don't know what this is supposed to accomplish, but my little bread and butter connects, so I'm happy, and I'm
paw combo.
Looking for more. I'm playing mix-ups off of it, you know. This is also Vivisthesia right here is always off of the forward air doing B reverse Aura Sphere cancel, not B reverse, turnaround B Aura Sphere cancel. So you're facing the other way, you're looking for back air, and you can hit it landing on Mistech, you can hit it in a lot of combos. I believe it connects later in the set somewhere. But turning those around, I believe, is really strong and probably something for any Lucario players watching. If you want to try to implement that, I would recommend just like switching when you hit a forward air. If you're doing an Aura Sphere cancel off of it, like if you're going to connect in the air, to do it, to turn it around, because that way you're connecting with an earlier hit of up tilt. You're connecting with back air if they're still in the air. And those are pretty much the only 2 reasons, but those are a pretty big 2 reasons, because the other thing that you could be doing is getting another forward air off of it, but you don't really get forward air super often, and if you do, you're probably landing between them, which means you can just, like, if you land facing the other way, you can just dash again, like it's fine. You can just, you know, like if I'm facing this way and I want to do another forward air on motobug, I can just dash and I can just short hop forward air this way. But this way I get access to bair and I get access to the fast hit of up tilt. And honestly, Lucario's forward air getting nerfed in 3.1 I believe makes this Bumble Bear, this Conrad thing, this forward air, turnaround B, or sphere cancel back air thing. It connects way more consistent now, in my eyes, from playing the different versions back and forth a little bit. I think it connects way more consistently, and so that's my justification for why I turn around in spots like this.
See, I'm very impressed with myself for keeping sentences like that going and keeping them on track, because my ADHD is crazy. And I be thinking about multiple things while I'm saying sentences like that, but I keep it together, you know, I'm saying the words. Uh, and I like listening to myself talk because of that.
And it also, here, it lets me set up for shield drops, so, you know, sort of a similar idea. Yep. Okay, might have been able to connect a RAR back air there. That's weird. Maybe Motobug's Lucario would have hit that, you know. Shout me out in the comments if you know what I mean by that. Oh my god, this fuck.
I'll just explain the joke there. The joke there was that much earlier Motobug did the RAR back air off of like up throw, and I was like, oh, that seems kind of awkward. So I was like, you know, maybe Motobug has the sensibility if they were playing Lucario that they would go for it there.
Keyboard. Motobug. Oh my god, I really just don't know where my hands are. Motobug hitting again up tilt into like forward air into down air, you know, a little jab in there in the middle, but you can just see how brutal that combo is. And honestly, I probably should not be playing in the corner quite as much as I am. But you know me, I love my corner. And here Motobug taking advantage of the fact that this like up B into down air mix up is so strong, and that they can just sort of like jump off stage a little bit and afford to like go for it in almost neutral here, effectively. But CC up tilt wins the day when it comes to trying to clean up this stock. So
Dreffin would be so good at Sonic up B down air mix ups.
and we got last stock coming in. Yeah, no mix up on the respawn invincibility this time. This is one of the spots right here that made me want to make this video in the first place, which is running off stage and double jumping back on. So here, if you're imagining like Melee or a platform fighter that doesn't have B reversing or wave bouncing here, this spot is a lot less analog. It's a lot more binary, you know, because it's just like, am I going to do an aerial or am I not going to do an aerial? Because I've already spent my double jump. If you're in Melee, your characters aren't actionable out of up B. So it's just like, am I falling with an aerial or am I landing empty? Am I fast falling or am I not? It's a relatively simple situation. But in P+, you have this added element here of the fact that if I wave bounce an aura sphere cancel here, like if I just charge my aura sphere for a little bit and wave bounce it, I can fall right back to ledge. And if I fall with a back air, that's threatening to overhear. But if I go back to ledge, I can play at a completely different timing, the same spacing, but with intangibility, which makes doing this run off double jump thing, actually, it makes it a lot more like, you know, it was something I always used to do when I was a Melee player, but it was a little more tricksy. And in this game, I think it's more of a real legitimate option, especially for characters like Lucario and Sheik, who can afford to put out a relatively large back air, or sometimes just go back to ledge and then play a ledge dash mix up. And so Motobug gets caught by the back air here.
I think that was really insightful. Honestly, I'm like proud of the way that I talked about that. I would, you know what, maybe I'll show this video to people.
Perhaps thinking that they can punish some lag, but I have better drift than they thought, or thinking that they could catch a fall where I'm not doing an aerial, something. They try to put something out here, but it gets caught. And then this is just pure advantage state right here. We just got up tilts. We're just carrying up, and that kills off the top, just barely carried into the top blast zone with the uppies. And this is really what makes Lucario so powerful in my eyes. If you don't have these confirms, the character is just so much worse. But being able to hit this,
I consciously avoided saying like a spot on the tier list because I feel like thinking about where characters are on the tier list, it activates like the opposite part of people's brain that's like the critical thinking and like problem solving. It's like the emotions part of the brain, and that's like I'm trying to keep people in a state of like sort of like learning and understanding here, and I feel like as soon as they start thinking about tiers and which character is better, that's like just completely the opposite thing.
this is just such a massive difference maker in like every single matchup, you know. Um, so just like a very nice pickup to end that game because that could have gone any sort of way. And then we're right back to more of the same. We're just like we're looking for our openings. And here's the thing that I said that I don't want to see, which is this down tilt side B, because you can see I get the tipper hit of Lucario's down tilt, which is the meteor hitbox on grounded opponents. So it's going to confirm on everyone at the low percent. It's going to put them into that little crumple state. And so I can get a true grab off of this, but going for the side B instead is sometimes it's going to whiff. You know, if my opponent SDIs away, this side B is not going to hit. I'm going to be in lag, and also the punish that I get is not as good as a punish I would get off of a regular grab. So I don't like this from myself. This comes from earlier days playing Lucario where I wasn't sure if my down tilts were going to tip or they were going to get the inside hit. Because if it's the inside hit, this is a pretty good option. But this was definitely a tipper. It was definitely meant to be a tipper. So this is just lazy, you know. I still get a combo off of it and a punish and advantage state because it's not the worst thing ever. But
I feel like this demonstrates something that's like that really differentiates me from a lot of other people when I do my analysis, is because like I see that and I stop and I talk about how it's bad and I don't like that I'm doing it and it disappoints me to see myself doing it. But other people could look at this and be like, "Oh, that hit just did like 70%. Like that was really good." And I try not to be too like results based in my thinking about that. But also I think that is one of my flaws as a player. Is that I'm sometimes not able to acknowledge when the options that I do just like work anyways because I'm too busy thinking about the counterplay my opponent could do. Like I just have like chronic VOD review syndrome, you know, because when you look at it too many times, you'll be like, oh, my opponent had an answer. Like it wasn't even really that real, the combo that I did. But like, you know, down tilt side B worked. I don't know. It's hard. It's a serious philosophical question is what it is, and we could probably talk about it forever, but I just wanted to mention a little bit of that.
but you know, it's a little less than optimal. And this is nice because this is down tilt and then reacting to the fact that I get aura to catch the fall. Motobug is just barely actionable here during the fall, but spending aura here to make this a spike, and this will be just like a totally clean guaranteed kill. And let's even get let's get some audio
I think desktop
on this.
audio was off.
Probably not going to be
Let's
very
find
loud,
out.
you know, but let's get the yeah,
Oh,
he lets you
it
know
was
what's going
on.
on. So you're out of there. And I play just the worst mix up on respawn that you ever can, which is Lucario up smash on their respawn. You get so little aura off of this. I do it. It's left over from friendlies. There's no reason to ever do that in a real tournament set. You get like 3 aura and sometimes they hit you. But this is a big combo of all the stuff that I've been talking about for the rest of the set. You know, the side B doesn't connect, but Motobug jumps in and gets caught by the next dash attack. We're just putting some zoning moves out. This is actually very similar to what Motobug does to me a lot, where I'm just kind of moving forward for 2 or 3 interactions in a row, and they're putting out their moves, and I'm running into them. But this time, you know, other side of the coin, and then up B down air bails them out once more, and then Dare Spike cleans it up pretty cleanly. Noticing there are definitely some very noticeable patterns in this set and in this matchup even not between the two of us players. I assume you would see a lot of these things, but I'm just emphasizing that because, you know, people start analyzing P+, and I feel like it can be a very common opinion that it's like, oh, well, I'm never going to see this matchup ever again. Like, what's the point of analyzing this? But, like, you're going to see these Lucario mix-ups in, like, slight variation in, like, every single Lucario matchup. And you're going to see these Sonic disadvantage states in, like, every Sonic matchup. So the analysis... And, you know, you'll see, like, minor variations in other characters. Like, some other characters will have similar advantage or disadvantage states. So I think the analysis is useful. And also, there are a lot of patterns that you can notice for sure. Yeah.
That was kind of beautiful. I love analysis so much, and I just wanted to kind of like justify it to people, even though, you know, if you've watched this far into the video, you probably understand why analysis is pretty good, but I mean, it just gives people something to think about, I guess.
That's my brief aside, and then we can see the same recovery mix-up I was talking about earlier with the up B high cancel into DT to try to get. Motobug tries to punish it, but they do it just a little early while I'm still intangible. Not quite. And then this is also this is a Vivisthesia confirm, is dash attack ASC into Nair. That's going to confirm on a lot of characters at the later percents. You can just keep looking for dash attack. It's not perfect, but it does a lot. And here once again we have early percents, up throw, Nair, DI into the ground, buffer roll away. Classic mix-up situation. Classic punish, disadvantage, just all that. And more combos, more similar, just stuff barely whiffing. And again, converting just barely into the downer spike. I go for the up B cancel there, not just trying to make something happen on the wall here, because you should be able to wall jump, but sometimes with the slant, just like right here, it can be very awkward, and I'm not sure if it was possible there, but either way, I do die a little early. That's the kind of thing I would not go for if I was down, personally, because then I feel like I'm down way too much. But here it's like, okay, I can get my aura back. I'm up a little bit. And then this, I also liked this a lot from myself, is using the, is this B-reverse? Yeah, using the B-reverse Aura Sphere cancel to position myself for the sharking. Of course, this was something I have no experience from in Melee. This is just purely P+ tech, and I've really enjoyed figuring out how stuff like that can play into the advantage and disadvantage states of this game. That's one of my favorite parts of this game for sure.
That's true.
Yeah, no need to play a mix-up on the invincibility that time when you're ahead. And just looking for some guaranteed percent here. And you can see here's the thing I talked about earlier where I'm trying to hit that like run-off double jump fair. I'm trying to B-reverse ASC back to ledge here, but I miss it, and so I have to do this, which is just a little bit worse. Still getting percent. And then
I can like hear in my voice that I'm getting excited because the set is about to finish.
My lord, I need to remap my keys. This fair here, space with just a tiny drift back to bait the shield grab, that's not going to work on almost any character except for Sonic. I'm getting shield grabbed by Snake a million times out of a million there. I'm still going for it. It's not going to work. But it does get me a little fair here. And you can see this is the back air I was also talking about earlier, why you turn that around, because converting into this back air is real nice. You can see it puts Motobug in a really nice spot to continue this punish. Even if I don't exactly get much here, it puts them in a much nicer spot. Yeah, missing that just barely. Getting downer spiked, dying at just like brutally early percent again. Just very, very strong Sonic spike. And then this forward air, one of Sonic's stronger neutral options at the lower percents, if they can get the meteor hitbox on the ground.
Shoutouts Ren.
Opponent, sort of like Lucario tipper down tilt. It's going to confirm into grab. Luckily, Motobug can't cancel it into side B, so they can't make the same mistakes that I do. And they get just a nice little grab here. But again, SDI down and away is the bane of every low percent combo's existence, getting me to ledge, and then Motobug is forced to play mix-ups off of it. And you can see I'm just sort of like fighting my position, trying to get just any sort of hit, get my way back to center eventually. And now we have advantage state. And this, yeah, not quite. Ooh, scary. This recovery Roncopter here is, this is an attempt to hit like an early up B sort of like back air thing. I'm hoping to get like the reverse hit here and send them back off, but also it gets me back on stage even if it doesn't connect. So this is a rare example of me spending my aura for like this sort of recovery. I don't do this super often. And then back airing the ledge dash, sort of just like covering a lot of different high angles here with this Aura Sphere, and then the runoff double jump fair is enough to seal the set. And it's sort of an anticlimactic way for it to end, but I think it does. You know, I think this set did a good job of like showcasing a lot of different stuff in the matchup, and stuff that I think about when I'm playing Lucario, and stuff I think about when I'm playing Motobug in any matchup. So, you know, I thought this would be a fun little thing to make. You You can shout me out in the comments, I guess, if you liked this, if you want to see more of this. I'll probably never make anything like this ever again, but this was fun. So thanks everyone for watching. I'm Essy, and see you next time.
That's my catchphrase probably. But anyways, this was fun to make. I'll probably never make anything like this ever again. So shout me out in the comments if you watched it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Essy, and see you next time.